Yes.
Mr. Kinzer?
Here.
Mr. Haverly? Dr. Greenman?
Here.
Mr. Nolan?
Here.
Mr. Purvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Walsh? Here. Mrs. Hanneman? Mrs. Fiske? Here. Mr. Edis? Mr. Tilford? Mr. Stahl?
And then we'll add Dean as a community member from Capeland.
There's no hazing or anything like that.
So no audience to visitors, so item number 3. Oh, there. Whoops. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Oh, that's okay.
That's my bad. I should have asked.
Could we ask you to stand at the
Oh,
podium
sure.
here?
Yeah, okay.
So we now kind of televise even our committee meetings, so
Oh, okay.
you're, I'd love to say on NBC or CBS, but you're not.
Okay.
It's just, we're streaming, so,
Perfect.
well, welcome.
Thank you. Well, thanks. My name is Nancy Schilling. I'm actually here on behalf of the Boosters, North Blue Boosters. So we wanted to come in front of you and actually touch base on the athletic stadium. It is a big concern in our community. We've had numerous people come to us and they say, what is going on with the bleachers, the track, the field, the soccer field, everything that's pretty much not had been done for a really long time. We tried to go back how far. I know it's been the exact same that I've been there, and that's 30 plus years, unfortunately. And we had another person in the audience, and they said they're the same way, and they're at 40 plus years, so we're looking at least 40 plus years of the same track, stadium, field, bleachers. I don't know if you get a chance to come up to the games, just the last football game. I think there was over 700 tickets sold. We don't have facilities to seat that many people. So people are paying to get into games with no ability to be even seated. They have to stand. Concession stand have been the same since I've been in school. That's 30 plus years. It's a real concern. Booster members have went saw other schools that were in our previous conference, schools that are in our conference now. All of those schools have new athletic facilities. We are the only one. So we're just here to see, we are ready, willing, able to help. The boosters have approximately $100,000 earmarked already in savings. We're ready to do fundraisers. The community wants to know fundraisers, and our hesitance is we don't want to do a fundraiser if we can't for sure tell that community this is what it's going for. And we really can't do that without your support and the board support. So we're here just to see what the agenda is, what the plan is. Is there a plan? How are we going to fund it? What's going to be funded? So everybody's on the same page.
Thank you very much.
Okay? Great, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, now on to the
Yeah. So we gave you an updated list today. Jim, if it's okay with you, and I haven't even told you this yet, the colored list, how about if I have you walk through it? Just kind of what got done. The list that we gave you here really reflects what we had brought to the board, I want to say January and February last year, for those pre-spring projects that we had agreed to. And so I brought almost that exact same list to you, but now you got kind of the evidence of what's done and what's gone on this summer. So I'm gonna let Jim walk through that. Jim, then you kind of put together another list of some things that have emerged. And there was a couple other things that have emerged that I'll talk about in there too. But let's maybe go through first the list of what's there, and then we can talk about your list that's kind of come up too, things we're working with. And
First of all, let's go through, we've scratched that Papa Grove Elementary for the sewer line, but I believe we should, we need to x-ray that or camera it at least every 2 years, I believe is what I was been told.
that's what I was doing.
The upgrade for the building lighting LEDs to be announced, that was a placeholder, so self-explanatory. A few of these that I wasn't sure how it was laid out prior to me getting this was masonry work number 3. They named me the 4 schools there.
Did we get those done?
mean, there was some tuck pointing done at the point, but I don't know.
I know we did tuck pointing at a couple different schools.
Yeah, and I know there was tuck pointing both at Poplar Grove and
Middle school.
middle school, but when I looked at this number, I didn't know if that's what that represented or not.
I think those were placeholders at that time, so.
Number 4, the roof replacement at Manchester, that one is complete, that job is done. We walked through a punch list Monday. I think there's one item on there that we have to do. We have to replace some screws, some self-tapping screws that were down below the 4-foot level that has an open
On the east
site
side.
on the downspouts. We just gotta change them to pop ribbons.
The other thing was too, is that the skylights that were in a little late, they were supposed to be clear. They ordered them as translucent, so skylights are on, they're translucent. We're working with the roofer to get those changed back to what we ordered, so.
Replace classroom signage, that's in process right now. I mean, we're gonna knock them for the middle school, elementary. And then I believe-
Those are, yeah, and I'm gonna kind of chime in on some of these things because I've walked through them. so
And
many times.
Manchester also is on there.
So
Maybe
we've
go down
got,
to number 13.
we've got health, life, safety signage that meets all the codes that comes with it, with Braille and everything. And so, we've got several schools, health, life, safety required, that we've got to get done. So that's kind of still on the to-do list here. So,
At the upper, we have replacing a flooring, multi-year approach. That's in decision mode right now with the new staff and everything. I'm not sure how what direction we want to go with that right now. If we're gonna put carpet back in them rooms, or if we're gonna go to a no-wax flooring, or how we're gonna do that. I wanted some input back from the new principal over there to basically understand what we'd like to have and what we can actually put in there at the same time.
Take feedback here too. We currently have
Yeah.
carpeting in those classrooms. I think some of it, I think Dave said they're 24 years old as of this year. So we know we've got 2 rooms that health, life, safety wrote up. The problem is I think you've got like maybe 6 rooms total that got the carpet. The other 4 rooms did get rid up, but they're the same age carpet, so you kind of, you're looking at the same thing. We could, is it VCT? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
The type of
VCT.
tile?
Yep.
5th grade wing is done in a VCT tile, which requires wax. Took the carpeting up. Carpeting's still in the 6th grade side. But you could go with the VCT, you could go with the carpeting. There's now a new product called a no wax flooring. So we kind of want to get prices. We want to talk a little bit about that. I don't know if the board has strong feelings one way or the other. I think obviously what we're looking for is cleanability, durability, price. Carpet, the one nice thing, and just as a principal there, I liked how quiet it is. And nice to walk on, nice to sit on, but it also brings some allergens with it too. I don't know, the tile might be more durable too, so. Questions,
Any
thoughts on that?
feedbacks on that, guys?
What's Dave's recommendation? Does he wait?
He likes the carpet, but not that type of carpet. I mean, we went ahead and put carpet into the band room this year in the middle school, and we used a carpet square, heavy grade, and I think it's holding up. I mean, it's only, what, 2
Looks
months.
nice.
It looks good.
And the
It's
thing
just-
is, if you get a bad tile, you can swap the tile out as opposed to a whole carpet around it.
And we're trying to create a fix for a seam. Everybody knows there's gonna be a seam in the carpet. It's a high traffic area. The only way to fix it is replace it, you know? So I mean.
Dave would prefer the carpeting, that's what we've used. I know he said that to me.
He likes it, but then he's, you know,
We kind of held back
It's-
on it. We had Jim coming in, we had Jared coming in.
and I asked Jared, and he said either way, he was gonna look at it to a point where it's quiet, you know, you have all the kids in there, you know, warmer towards the winter. And as far as the upkeep on it, you have to keep both clean, so regardless of any hours to clean, but it is what it is.
So our thought was, is we kind of price it out 3 ways, talk about the pros and cons of each, or something like that, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the fact that what we have in there lasted 25 years says a little full of how it was taken care of.
Yeah.
He's probably the right guy there. You know, I think that that's probably part of the discussion that needs to take place too, is, you know, not to say that Dave's leaving us tomorrow, but he's not gonna be here another 25 years.
Correct.
So I think all those things kind of need to be factored in. The labor involved in waxing and stripping floors is not, that's not easy to do either.
And that's what I was kind of getting at too. I mean, if you can save, you know, labor on anybody, it's a plus. It's just not time and money, so it's just like, if it works, it works. But
Dean, you're in the process, what are your thoughts on that?
The no wax floor won't hold up.
Okay.
It's, some of the reasons is hand sanitizer and stuff they use, the commercial grade type. If you look at the ones over in Cape, you can see brown spots. You can't get them off, that's from hand. They each do the wax and it's already into the time.
Well, and that was my question on the no wax tile. Sounds great, but, you know, I know it's newer out there, but
It's not as durable as the
what's the
commercial grade
durability?
tile at all.
Yeah.
But it is nice about it.
Yeah. Sorry, Jim, go ahead.
no, you're good. Classrooms, you put on here number 8. It was a placeholder. I used that. I know we played some classrooms at, the middle school and
A lot of painting done.
yeah, a lot of things that we got knocked out this summer. Number 9, concrete replacement. The only replacement that I know of is when I've been here, we usually concrete was when we fixed the repair at the high school. I know we have one coming up for the stoop at Capron that needs to be replaced. We touched that. We got to a point where now it's usable, but it's gonna have to be addressed at some point to get that stoop squared away at door G. That's handrail / whatever we gotta do there. I mean, we gotta have to take a look at it and see how we wanna make that work, you know. It's been bad for a long time. It's just one that we just gotta, we cleaned up and me and Dean have talked about it. I mean, it's to the point where when we had it, when I came in there, I'm like, hey, we gotta do something about this. This is not the right way to do it.
It was shifted about an inch and a half
Yeah.
with the crack, and we ground it, so at least the kids can't trip. You know, now it's not right.
It's a smooth transition now, but
Fine now.
it's not getting better. It's failing, so.
Okay.
But it's been there for, what,
Long time.
you know,
So we've been talking for a while about the parking lot there at Poplar
Yeah.
and Capron and how that leads to the infiltration of water into the basement and stuff. Is that something that we can do all of that at the same time and address that?
I don't see why you couldn't address it all at one time. You're gonna have to make that change. I mean, back to the day when they put the new power into that building and the concrete, the driveway, or so it's a finished coat for it. I mean, you know, as well as anybody else, you walk in and look at it, you're gonna go, okay. It's done, but
But at the same time to do that, even advised to pull out of the septic tank, so only 2 rooms that are going into the septic tank, which is bringing water into the room, and tie it into the village. Because right now, we only have 2 rooms in the septic. Last year was, had that hit only 24 times. $200 a pop
That's just this year.
last year.
What does that cost us every time?
$200 a pop. This year we've done it at 300.
So there
24 times.
Last year.
So there are parts of Capron School that are going to city sewer water.
2 places, pre-K, my office, computer lab, that's it. They go into the septic tank. When they come and pump the septic tank, water, because the leach field is in the swamp. And so you can actually watch the water coming backwards and filling up the tank. And at the present time, the cap the leach field, we did that last year. To stop the leach field from coming in, that gives me another week or so I can get by without it. But there's not enough septic going in there to even have the tank. They think should be pumping 4 years.
that something that was existing or something that got added to it and nobody
It was-
knows?
It's been,
It was existing. What I was told, true, false, I don't know, that they didn't want to spend the money to rip up the parking lot, because you had to rip the parking lot up to Diamond Village on that end. So they got, I don't know.
How many years to cross? You have to cross
What's
that.
that?
How long do you think that's been like that?
Oh, I think that's been like that since they converted the bus barn.
Plus one.
Yeah. At the present time, we have water that came up into the computer lab, which are the work we did on. All they did was skim coat over the drains. And so it's, all this last rain brought a lot of water up. And the water was full.
So the roof is leaking?
Comes up through the floor then.
Oh, right back up the other.
Yeah.
The old existing floor drains that were in that plus one.
There's no check valves in the drain system.
No, I put one in, pre-K's bathroom last year, I put a backflow drain in, and it's stopped that. But the other one's very somewhat concrete, so we don't know what to do, we gotta work the concrete up there with the permit. And at present time, permit is shot.
Okay, number 13, anything else on that, I'm sorry.
Nope.
Number 10, replace salt pavement parking lot.
Still to do.
Still to do. Seal coat drives, we did the high school and Poplar Grove this year. Number 12, carpentry, including doors, storefronts, hardware replacement. Nothing that I know of or prior to, or since I've been here, we didn't change anything out on that or do anything. I see that's listed as a couple of the doors that need to be taken care of, but none of that was pushed forward as a complaint.
Just as clarification, Jim, so that money did not get spent this year?
Not that I know of, and
I don't think we did it yet.
no, and I believe that's still there, that's just, I call it a push, but
So this list kind of came out as like a huge to-do list, and we kind of prioritized it down. So, and actually, when we kind of passed this stuff, we still thought we were going to have to do something with Poplar Grove soon. And then that came back in May, that they didn't feel we needed to do it this time, so some of these other projects just went on.
On those doors and locks, at the present time, I have 6 locks, and we physically have to play with the key to get over the door lock again. This morning, I had to actually physically break one on the door room. It locked and would not unlock, and can't even open half the doors or something.
Okay. Swollen.
They just need to be shaved and cleaned.
Gotcha.
What they need.
Uh, 13 is also classroom signage, that's in the process now, I think that's done, that was helped by Sam. Resurface of restroom floors in the middle school, this was a carryover from the previous year. As far as I know, we did not do anything with that.
Actually, MES is Manchester Elementary.
Oh,
We talked about
sorry.
just some of those, sorry, what are those floors called?
Terrazzo.
Terrazzo.
Yep.
We talked about those just being so old and just kind of needing to be reground and they got cracks in them and stuff like that, so that flooring kind of was redressed, both Capering and Manchester.
Yeah, I see.
And our bathrooms
I
just
have
out there.
but I know we didn't touch anything with
Don't you think on that, Dave?
Oh, definitely.
that.
The
Because
floors
that's 16 also.
The terrazzo, you don't need to go to the big dollar terrazzo. There's other hard cement floorings that are just as well.
So a lot of times we'll hear comments about our bathrooms, just how old they are. and stuff like
Paper
that.
that
And
were
our
for life health safety and bathroom, cafeteria, tile actually corroded up.
Okay. Still on the to-do list.
What do we got? 16 of 13, yes, 17. Replace bottom tubes in both boilers at Manchester. That one's complete this year. 18 set aside money for the stadium. 19 place bombs and boilers, that was completed this year, Cape.
Yeah, go ahead. I've been in this field forever. And you shoot yourself in the foot on these boilers. Boiler isn't designed to be turning off like the light switch. Boilers should be run 24/7, year round, except when it goes down in the summer for PM. What you're doing is cracking your own tubes by turning them on and off because it's expanding and contracting the tubes, and you're just ruining your tubes yourself. I refused to do it last year, Alice backed me up on that, and when they went off, that was it. Sorry, no more heat, you're not getting them. And it needs to be, they need to be cleaned in time, put on the readouts the way they're supposed to be. And boiler will sit there idle. It won't crank up to 150 degrees. It'll just sit there idle. And that's just cracking your tubes. And Jeff Roberts, the boiler, he actually, when he came in, he started laughing, he said, "You know better than this." He says, "You look cool."
We shut them off in all schools?
They shut them off and on all the time. It should never go off.
The high school has a newer system, it's the same.
And that system, if that system is working right, what it does is, when you turn the boiler off, it's drawing cold air. And then when you turn the boiler on, the boiler's gotta catch up to balance, it's all balanced air, and they work together. And so when you shut one or the other off, it's gotta do a whole cycle, catch it back up again.
Do you have a recommendation on, like, shut them off April 1st, turn it back on October?
I would shut them off to do my summer, whatever you do, your inspections, turn them right back on and let them sit there and idle. It doesn't hurt a thing for them to idle. And kind of all rolls into the same nest egg here. The union vents up there, they've been, not saying politically, but the best thing I can say, pardon my French, the best thing is so bad that those are designed that they have outside louvers. Those outside louvers work with the off the thermostat. And what happens is, because you're circulating the steam or the water, if you're calling for heat, I don't want it, I have my temperature, it opens up the outside shutters so it blows that fresh air in. Well, through the years, they actually bent rods, pulled motors off, and everything else. And now there's nothing functioning the way it properly should be functioning. And that also works as a flip side on hot days, that'll bring in some fresh air. But right now, they don't bring in nothing, you know.
But
I
we
actually
struggle
cracked
with,
all mine.
what we struggle with ours is like, those nights where it's somewhat cool at night, our building's getting warmed up, and then you come in, we're like, you suffocate on one until that air comes on, and we're heating and cooling the building the same day. We struggle
It
with.
should all be through that controller. That controller should run everything for you. It's a program controller that's got a set. If I set it at 70 degrees, it should turn my exhaust on or my heat on, maintain 70 degrees. That's it.
Because the Bible and I talk, we want to do it, given, I'm not sure their circulation of the building is.
It might be not
It
properly
needs to
set
be,
up.
it needs to be readjusted, so we have, because some rooms are, this room will be 90 degrees, this room will be 60 degrees, and they're right next to each other, the airflow needs to be
Balance
adjusted.
needs to be redone.
That's what we come to.
Yeah, you gotta put theirs and it needs to be balanced.
All right, 20, replacing water starters with free drives. There has been one, this money is, I believe, set aside for future on that. I know they had a problem at the UE, and they changed it out, and I believe that's why Jim set this money aside for it. They did do one back in January of last year.
So is the plan to do the other one right away, Joe? before
Pardon
heating-
me?
Is the plan to do the other one before heating season starts?
The thing about it is, I was talking with Jeff actually today, everything seemed to be running right on that. I guess the one that they changed out it went bad on them, they had a different system in there. And he said, he looked back and said they replaced it back in January of last year, but as of this year, when they did their PM on it, everything seemed to be okay. But I don't know if Jim just set this money aside, because I looked at the cost of it, and it what it costs us to do the other one. It's for the other two, so if everything was good, I don't know, I think he just set this money aside for the future. That I know of, because that, they did one in January, and I don't believe they would have, I mean, I really can't honestly answer that, but when it went out, that's why I asked if he used that money to put, I knew they put one in there, but I didn't know when. So, until Jeff got back to me today, and said he put it in, I think, last January. 21, install doors in hallway, west ramp area, health, life, safety required. This is one, we can beat our head against the wall on this.
What are you talking about, Bill?
I-
We
we-
would know.
Mike's
We
talked
said-
about this, and
It's where the old library was, the entrance off that, by that ramp.
You go straight in the cafeteria.
That's got smoke sensors on the wall. And what had happened was they wanted the doors for the front, so them are all broke now. And life, health, safety, and the fire marshal says that's gotta have smoke doors, and they have to be working off the automatics. And there was him and Han, we're not gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're not gonna do it. And they wrote us up again, they have to be there.
And when we talked to the architect said kind of the way, I don't know, quite a terrible job of explaining, the way that the flow and the egress and how you need to escape, depending on the situation, the way the ramp sits with where the doors come are all backwards.
correct. And
So
that's the
it's
problem,
gonna take a little
because-
design.
Well, my question to life, health, safety on that issue was, okay, you're telling me I gotta have them at that ramp for that area. 30 feet down the hall, I have another ramp, no doors on it, and they don't say nothing. So if I'm blocking smoke, I'm kind of slow, but I think smoke is gonna travel out the hole, it's wide open regardless.
And I think that when I discussed it with the architect too, that with your ingress and egress, you don't have the swing to make it, let alone, I don't.
I showed Jim, and he didn't know it, but years ago, Dale would remember, that used to be no ramp there, it was stairs. And if you look at the wall, you can see where the door used to be, that went into the library. And so you're stuck, there's no place to swing the door.
Swing the door.
You know, there's nowhere to.
So our architects really said that there'd have to be some study and some design change to it.
Yeah,
Just to keep the stairs up.
Too big.
Let's not just lift your elevator.
you have to have something,
To make it code, yeah, that's an issue, that's.
because you have to have two for handicap, you can't have just one ramp.
Right.
You know,
And then you get into that situation where you go, if it's an ADA, you turn around and go, okay, now do you have enough room to swing that doors are swinging opposite, right? So you're swinging one on the ramp and you're swinging one off the ramp. So the one on the ramp, you have enough room to put somebody that is handicapped so that door will swing. They can sit there without being hit. I mean, it's kind of a Pandora's box once you
Yeah,
open it up.
that's-
But it's design work that needs to be done and changed. It's too done.
22, we all good with that, guys? 22, place library AC unit, that was completed this year. 23, Manchester replaced front windows, that was not completed.
And I just kind of walked down the list, there are 23 through 34, were just kind of listed items that were put down. Would be nice if we ever got there. I don't know that I believe we did get it back.
We get 25 was completed, 26 was completed.
Vacuum for the UE was completed. But a lot of those were just kind of like add-on items that would be nice if there was money available. Like you look at floor scrubbers, mowing enclosed trailer, those are all just would be nice.
So I say equipment on here, do all the schools have the same equipment for the guys to use? Is there a consistent list?
I don't
Everybody's got a
believe
floor
so.
scrubber, everybody's got a good vacuum, everybody's.
I don't believe so. walking into it, I don't believe that's the answer. It makes sense.
I go through what I built, he's gave me two since he's taken over on mine, and started driving my two. And I was supposed to, that's just your little land. And I never got it. My snow blower, I can blow snow from leaving him, if I'm lucky.
No, but standardized equipment, not everybody has the same things.
I mean, I realize that all the schools don't have the same needs, as everybody needs a forest road. I'm just curious, when I see that on the highs, lows, I wonder if we didn't choose.
And I'd say there's also some things that are pretty aged, that need to be pretty replaced. I've heard a lot of my backwards forces and stuff like that. Sometimes you do best you can repair, but you can end of life. Seagrass too.
It's cheaper just to buy new one,
Right.
put it out there for the guys.
Right.
I was curious on equipment, on all equipment, why isn't there a tag, asset value tag on it? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the asset tag tag. You buy a piece of equipment, tag, it's worth $1,000. Well, every year, you look and see how much you spent on that. And if I buy that for $1,000, I put $1,000, I just automatically turn that asset to $2,000. So you gotta have a payoff where you can get rid of it. You know, it's gotta be a payoff.
It's kind of what I'm after, in item number 7, there, when you talk about a water system, it's all the same kind of things.
Yeah.
Identifying what we buy stuff, so we know what we have, who has it, where it is, what we spent on it. And when it gets to be a point where we're spending more to maintain it than it does, it needs to go down the road and get something that the guys can use. So
See,
that's one of the things that I was looking for.
and if we had a couple guys that was maintaining that, that's easy to keep records. But when you got 15 guys trying to do that, it isn't gonna happen. And just like the PM program on your units, it isn't gonna happen, I guarantee you. You're gonna have guys sit in there and do this.
What used to happen there is that stuff came to the bus department, and we took care of it here. Everything that was at the schools was hauled out, brought here, service, PM, back to the guys who had needs. So I don't know what they're doing today, but that's what we did.
I know.
They were doing some kind of PM with the stuff on top of the road, because I remember we had some call and we did not have the snow blower back. Yeah, it wasn't a big one, but I do know it was up.
Yeah, I know there's went to, Tractor Town, because I went with them and they picked it up, because I was told to look at one. And that's where as far as the went, after I looked at it.
When it still is not the time to worry about our things.
You know, and the PM programs go for everything. How much did the blower cost at the high school last year that went out? $2,000. And that's just because guys went up there and the belt was slipping, so they kept tightening the belt. Well, the bearing was out, and then the result, the bearing ain't the shaft, so now I get to buy a whole squirrel cage. So I could have bought a $10 bearing, put on there, ready to go. But nobody's doing a PM.
Is that, when you say PM, I don't remember how many years ago they went through that. Is that the same thing, where they put a label on everything that the cat does?
That's audit.
Can they,
That's all.
That's
can they use that same system to keep track of, can that be tied to that, or is that, we have to do another whole system? I guess
All you do is
I'm
sit
asking.
and write PMs. There's no big system, you have to have it, nothing. You write a PM, get the PM, do the PM, he gets a copy. Okay, why did I snap this shaft? This
If
PM.
we had that for the auto array, for everything listed, could we tie that into what you're talking about, make it work for both?
I think you're talking more for the asset thing.
Yeah, it would be tied in together.
Audit assets. It's preventative.
But if you had a preventive maintenance program, somebody doing it, you're gonna save a lot of money, big dollars.
That's anything.
Not even a question
So, just for information, so we set aside $581,850 last year to use on capital projects.
I'd have to double check that figure. And I'm not sure if that comes up just off the tally of what was used in those lines, you know, off the switch, I wouldn't be, I'm not gonna be able to have it. That might just be from the switch. Kind of
Because it looks
placeholders.
like there's $150,000 worth of stuff that didn't get done.
That's what I was kind of wondering, is I was struggling with the math on this as to what was included in the total, because my recollection was is that your target budget was always about what you expected to get in on sales tax.
Well, yeah, and even a little higher than that, because we put a little more than that.
And that
You're right on.
you came in low on some items like that, so I wasn't aware or don't remember you coming back and adding things back into the budget to take the place of like the
No.
Manchester roof, so.
So, yeah, like the placeholder for Manchester was higher than what we came in. And I didn't come back to large ticket items, but what the actual expenditure was, I'm sure we're probably gonna be like. So I'm guessing these are probably other placeholders, what's in there.
I guess the only place I'm not so focused on that is what are we gonna try and still do some of this stuff now that we have money that we budgeted that we did?
Yeah, I think if we go to the next line, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we still got stuff we gotta pick off, but we've got other stuff emerge too, so I think, sorry. No, that's actually leads right into the next document, so that's perfect. And then Jim, since Jim's getting a whirlwind fired, as he kind of comes with us here. I've had him go through and then, say, you know, based on some of your conversations with custodians, some of the things you've talked about, he's put together some other things that, you know, here's some things that we've also worked on and done, and I'll let you walk through that list. And then there's really a few items I still wanted to kind of talk about, we got to make sure that we're still on pace or have direction to be going.
Yeah. Just some of the stuff that we got through 2019, and I believe that we added some, I might have missed some of them. In high school, we went ahead and repaired catch basins in there, the parking lot we had on there, the auxiliary gym roof. That was actually a situation where, let's say,
We're working for warranty.
yeah, warranty on that. The underfloor library, drain leak, you got that repaired. Cafeteria tables were repaired. I know we had softball backstops, that was on that list. We also went through, got the windows all cleaned, put together because of last year's graduation. You know, they go over the north side of the building.
That's what that,
Yeah.
looking like, yeah, what the, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, that was, another one that I had put on there too was we're redoing the dugouts here in front of the high school, or middle school.
That's brick repair, the
Yep.
tug pool.
Yep. At Manchester, we had, the entry window replacement, a couple of classroom windows on the back side that were replaced on it. Gym roof replacement, we had that. Boiler room we had to get taken care of. We painted the exterior of that gym complete. Replaced playground mulch. Middle school, we painted a lot of classroom on the inside, soft, and we got that. And then
And entranceway.
an entrance, yeah, front and back on there. Carpeted the music room in there, we did the parking lot repairs, potholes that we went through that. There was a hose bib in the front side of the building that we did, was not working, so we had to re-pipe that, find the problem and redo that. The Viking banner out front was one that they asked to borrow.
Hey, Jim,
Cape Ridside,
before you go to Capron, go to Poplar Grove, then let's come back to
Poplar Grove. We sealed the parking lot in there. I still owe the unload zone to you guys on that. Striking that on the process where the kids can get in and out. And Tommy Hucknall, I went through, and I didn't have it on here, and I apologize for that. We placed some gaskets and clamps on the boiler system pipes. And we repaired some tile at door E where it was all busted up. And that's the main entrance that I think we're gonna have to touch. That we set money aside before on the list prior to that, because that's our main traffic pattern in and out in that place, so. I know Dave had some problems with that tile and started to peel and chip, and so I went and took care of that for him, so I got that squared away. Okay. Again, repaired some potholes. AC library, you guys knew about that, boiler, patched, fence on the ball field, put that together, and then ground down part of that crack on door G. You probably know a lot more than I do on that, but.
We did the fence on the backstop, and that
Yeah.
was through a memorial.
Okay.
No, that whole fence that we put up was through the memorial.
The
wings.
The wings, yeah.
Yes.
So then, what I wanted to go back to, because there's a couple other things we still needed to talk about, Kate. And when we talked about at the board meeting, what needs to be done to straighten out the pre-K. There, we had a grant that helped with that pre-K playground. For that track that they could put down in there, we need about an extra 25 foot of fence. So as long as we had them out to quote the fence for the backstop and do it right, we got the quote for the pre-K fencing too. So we've got bids for that. That's another one of the agenda items I'll let you know. We also got a freezer issue. We've got a really old freezer there. We did have one of our employees slip and fall.
You can, that's totally up to you.
And when you guys kind of approached, you said, it's kind of expensive, and you can do some other things, probably,
I
I'd
got
like
a
to
ton
hear.
of numbers for you.
Yeah, I saw that, so,
Well, we looked at the old freezer walls, the insulation inside it is gone, and so the cold's coming out. We had a daily fall breaker risk, which everybody knows. The freezer's 240 cubic feet, and I've been watching the Janice Stone, she needs that much room. And she's dead right, it's full, because they only get supplies in once a week. On that freezer, Jim and I talked quite a bit about it. We looked at a three-door freezer. Three-door freezer, 72 cubic feet only. It would take 3 of those to equal the square footage or cubic feet she needs. This comes in at $11,000. So today, I did a little more investigating. Purchase a brand new box. The box is the whole freezer minus any of the refrigeration components for $5,300. That's door, walls, floor, ceiling, everything. And then they would use all of the old existing. And I talked with the manufacturer quite a bit this morning, and last night I talked to him. And he says that's the way he would probably go, because if you're looking at replace that freezer, you're up with a $15,000-$16,000. Part of the problem is you have to have it fit in the hole, and it's a custom. You can't just go, if it was a foot bigger, that's a stock item. But you gotta, that foot is what kills it. So today, this afternoon, I got back with it, that's $5,350 plus $300 shipping. So I talked to Jeff from Geostar. I said, Jeff, my gut is kind of what I would think to do, because I can replace my evaporator if it goes bad. I can replace my condenser if it goes bad. But my box is brand new, so you're getting like a half a deal. Jeff said, I said, Jeff, what would it cost to do that? He said, 2 guys, 2 days, and it'd be somewhere he's guessing between $1,500 and $2,000 to take out the old and put in the new.
on top of the box.
On top of the box. The bill looks like it's gonna be however you do it. If you run with a three-door refrigerators, then you gotta face electrical, you gotta face, where am I gonna put them? There is no room to put them anymore. I talked to Nicole today, and I said, what would you consider about the room across, maybe moving that teacher to a different room, make that room into the food storage room? And she said, I don't know if that could fly. You know, and I, just, we were trying to get every angle we could possibly. I talked to him, I said, tried every angle possible. Seems to be the right angle to do is order this here. and I'll tell you, it's 4 to 6 week lead time on it. Unless you wanna pay another, I think it was $2,500 expedited and having a couple weeks made, and that's a maybe. Because he said, we gotta stop production of this to make production of this. And then GOF, or the GFS, we think would let us have a freezer trailer parked in the parking lot for maybe up to a week while this was being done.
Being converted.
And we can do it on straight time versus Saturday, Sunday work, which would save money, you know. And Jeff also said if there was somebody that wanted to work with Jeff, he could save money. They don't have to send 2 guys, they only have to send 1, and you can save money that way.
We basically know we gotta do something with the freezer.
Well, we also priced just the door, and the door is $3,300, but that's not gonna resolve your issue.
But if your freezer box, you got no insulation and everything else.
And if you touch the freezer, you can feel the cold wherever you wanna feel it. Right now, it's leaking so bad, it's leaking into the hallway going into the gym. We got towels on the floor because it's running under the floor, because there's so much condensation.
So you're thinking 11K would give you a cushion to get the job done?
I'm thinking 10K would give you a cushion to have the job done. And that's providing one of us to work with, you know. And I go in there now, if I'm there, because it's like walking on a sheet of ice. And when you open the door and you walk in, first thing you get your head smashed with ice falling off the roof. And then you get in there, and by that time, you're about already half mad. You turn around and it's kind of like steak, you know. And I don't believe the girls should have to be going into there.
It's slippery all the time.
It's
It's unsafe.
unsafe.
Is this something that just went bad, or is it picked the scratch?
Bad, like that for years. I brought that to Jim's attention, first day I started, to Jim, this is leaking air. Yeah, but that's what I got, yeah, but. Now the yeah, but is caused an injury. I don't think it's worth it.
So if we have quotes, Ed, you think bring that to the board?
I think that's what I think comfortable with, is bringing this an agenda item.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you.
Are you okay with that, Tom?
Having trouble wrapping my mind around the whole thing. It doesn't have, we don't need any kind of review on that or any kind of architectural or engineering review or anything to.
It will go right in the same hole as,
They're not changing their electrical either.
no electrical, nothing gets changed, all the same.
The potential one of the issues is draining out behind there's gonna be
That'll be gone.
some type of hidden cost, but there'll be nothing it's gone, the leak hasn't caused any
No, not yet.
structure issues.
And how old are the refrigeration components?
The one on the roof is 4 years, I was told. And it
This reduced compressor
And
last year.
last year, we did that, we've had a couple compressor leaks, but that's just, we soldered copper and put Freon in. The evaporator inside is probably about 8 years old.
You know what kind of, just, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds, you know what kind of system it is? Or like an R22 or a 4K, is it a
It'll be an R, no, it's not a new system, it's got a little Freon.
that would be my.
And that would be drained, and it would stay with the old.
I guess that would be my concern, is sticking with the old system, and I think R22 is in the life. It's in the
No, they got
so.
another one out now.
But
Jeff just told me, he says that it is, you're right, the end of life is next year, but they've already come up with one that will fill its white spot for the guys that's got R22. It's kind of it's just, I understand where he's coming from, because it's kind of a circus, what they're doing.
well, it is, but it's something that I understand
Understand.
there's an urgency on it, but if I, instead of going halfway into something, if you've got an old refrigeration system, because it's my understanding that replacement Freon is not necessarily a drop-in replacement for R22. Typically, what you do is you replace those components with a newer system, so I would rather maybe look at the whole package and I would be hesitant just to jump right in on this without looking at a complete system price. I don't wanna say do it the right way, but to go ahead and look at doing
If you're into it, go the extra step too, but at least price it out that way.
Is GFS charging us for the trailer?
Um,
Do
I think she said it's gonna be good using for the
that?
road
Potentially get that for a longer period. Those down so do the entire process.
The whole process is still probably take 3 days, 4 days.
I think you want time to do it.
Plus he wants to do an analysis.
It's essentially the analysis of the study to make sure that to go the extra step.
I guess
Jim and Dean, would it be possible to just get that extra piece quoted to find out what we
Yeah,
can
I can call him tomorrow.
What I would ask the board then is, I might need a day or two, like your packet will be uploaded Thursday. I don't know if that I'd have the quotes quite there Thursday, but I'd upload it as soon as we got them.
I'll
Give you a recommendation for
Tuesday, they'll have a book.
Okay, we'll try to do it today.
Just to follow up on what Tom was saying, I guess if I had a concern, it is again that we may be doing 2/3 of the project.
I agree.
I would just assume.
We were looking at costs.
Isn't the refrigeration unit supposed to be on the roof?
Years ago, they used to put them on the roof. Downfall of putting refrigeration like that on the roof, I think it was up to the middle of last year, when all the freezers went down. Manchester had the problem. They're designed to only go down to a certain temperature. So if we had the other glass, it shut down. It won't run, you know. But on that unit there, I don't know if you can get one in with a roof. No, you don't have a room in it. I mean, you're tight. And there was no other place to put it.
So why don't the three of us just get that extra quote for the whole thing? And then we'll upload it to the board packet.
I can ask them to give me two quotes, one above on the roof and one mounted on the unit itself, give me the dimensions of it, and then I know how high I can go, for sure. Is that what you want?
I do remember the issues we had last year when we hit that vortex.
Yeah, ours went down.
but you'll hit that with any refrigeration system.
Yep.
Usually they put heaters on the outside.
The heaters were even.
Well, not with that temperature, yeah, but that's.
So we'll add that as an agenda. item. Upload that.
I'll get that, give it to Jim.
The other thing that I wanted to add, just in there, Jim, too, we do have a roof leak over the cafeteria piece there too, that we continue to try to work with the warranties and the manufacturer and what going there. We thought we had it fixed, but there's still, which leaks, I think, right over the top of our partitions there.
Yes.
So we still gotta get that isolated, fixed, and done there. The other thing is too, Dean's talked to me, Nicole has talked to me, and even Allison has talked to me. We have a divider within that cafeteria, we've got partition walls that slide to and from. If it was my principal's desires, they would take them out. And maybe even Dean's desire.
Well, this last rain we had, water was actually running out,
One of them. So
so you know they've been wet.
they've been wet. To take them out, I don't know what we do to store them. My principals are saying they don't need them, they don't use them. They become, I guess, what do you wanna call blocks or barricades where kids can hide behind, so it becomes kind of a supervision thing, where they prefer not to have them. But it's one of those things where, man, it's kind of a big dividing wall, and I wouldn't hate to do that without the board knowing that that's what our desire is to do, is to get rid of them. Our fear is when you take them down, they're heavier than heck. I don't know that you're ever getting them back up. And you probably, I don't know where you're gonna store them, but
That system's
keep 'em.
designed as a single system. We'd be- Yeah, it's
that's
like-
kind of where I'm going with it, so.
You're not gonna get the, it's not.
I don't even know what it takes to get rid of them, but, you know, it's kind of more asking that if it's my principal's way, then they could get rid of them. If the board was okay with that, we would start to move forward with that too. And like you said, they've been soaked now with water, so who knows what they got from mold and rot. So,
You look at, when next time we're up there, I'll show you, if you look at the knob on the one side, you can see the rust running down that.
yeah,
So,
so,
you know, there's
we gotta continue on that roof, and then if the board's okay with that, we'll any,
No storm, get rid of it.
get rid of them. So I just want to bring that up to you. That was all I had. And we still got the ball fence as an item, so I think that hit our village.
Item number 5, review the 10-year plan.
Yeah, we did, we put that in there. Obviously, some things that, we just talked about a bunch of things that we're still working on. Also still working on a lot of the signage from Health, Life, Safety. When you start to look at the plans, the Health, Life, Safety items that I would prioritize up there, obviously, is the UE flooring. That's our next piece to look at. So that would probably be coming back for summer work. I'd still like to have Jim pick off signage as the year goes on right now. When we get windows to do that, all the Health, Life, Safety signage that we need to do. The two other large pieces are, we know we got parking lots at the middle school. We know we've got Capers parking lot, which we know is grading, and we even talked about the sloop there too. Those are the big ticket items that still sit there. On that list, you see a bunch of other items that can really be kind of more do-less, undo-less, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, carpeting for sure for Manchester, or for Upper, tends to be next. The signage, obviously we gotta do something with the freezer. We wanna continue to do something with the ball diamond, and pre-K. I'd almost like to wrap the pre-K. Look to work and finish up, wrap that up the right way, pre-K.
I was told by the guy that did the fence for the pre-K, when I asked him to come.
Yeah.
He laughed at me, and I go, oh, it's so funny. He goes, that's exactly what I was told to cut when I put this fence up. What I told him I wanted, he said, that's what you cut. He said, that was all my plans. That's what came from the fencing guy.
So I know the pre-K was a pre-K grant that we got from the state.
And they got equipment sitting outside the fence right now, waiting to go in.
Was not aware.
So does that take care of number 6? The update on the Caper playground, baseball field, here, we have some more stuff on that.
I've got bids for you that were in there, in your packet. You can find them, like the lead sheets. I wanna say there was a $10,000 one, there was like a 10,
10, 9, and 5.
Yeah, 10, 9, and 5. So, Creative Fence came back for both jobs, $9,735. Rock Valley Fence and Deck came back at $10,627. Rock County Fence came back at $5,606, and they said they just wanted to do a site visit for the $5,000. We could get the backstop done, we can get the pre-K fencing all straightened out, get that stuff. And I just wanted to share that with you. When I said it at the board meeting, I thought we were gonna be around 2,500. That's why I don't fence, I would be losing money because the out of business, but I would probably put that on the board agenda to say, is it okay? You know, being it's a little over than what we talked about. When Allison came and she said that we weren't looking for money for the board. And if you, technically it's under 10,000, I can go ahead and do it. And I would prefer to just do it until it right, let's be done. But if you'd rather to be transparent with the board, just bring it to the board, I would choose to not do that. You're done.
I guess where I'm at, kind of combining these 3 items here, is it would help me to see something that maybe Kim, you would put together and Melissa would kind of review it, that I would like to see what this list looks like, and what we budgeted for projects last year and what they actually came in as. And in my mind, this now approaches the figure of a capital item. And ideally, if you have excess funds left over, I would rather than see it, it is within your discretion, I would agree with that, and that's what we said at the meeting, but I would like to see it be taken off the surplus that we had from last year, that we had going into this previous summer's projects. And I think that the refrigeration piece can also be, in my mind, it's an unplanned capital, and I would, if we have leftover money from this year's projects,
Consider
it would
that.
seem like that's what I would rather push it towards. And my other thing, as I was looking at your completed summer list, just, I'm kind of going off your a little bit, but it would help me to look at that list and think of it in two ways. One part of that list is gonna be the capital side and what we plan, and it would kind of fit into what I asked for the first part. The second part is you have a lot of things in there, like, and I'm assuming like if you had to replace a playground mulch at a elementary school, that wouldn't be a capital item, it would come up, it's a completed summer project, but it would come out of an operational expense that sits over here. And so, in my mind, I would like to see that kind of broken out into those two areas, keep the capital separate and see how we're doing in there and how we're tracking, so that, like as the summer comes up, you're pulling some things up because we came in under on other ones. But on the operational side, I still wanna see what we are able to accomplish over the summertime, but have it in a separate pool of money that we know it's not competing on the capital piece. That, as I'm trying to catch up to where you're at and things, it would help in my vision to kind of see it moving that way.
Yeah, I'm sure Melissa can pull that out for me.
Um,
Some of these too, like the way we present our communication of all the things that we did. not- Yeah,
and I
so-
get that part.
So let me see if I can get, Melissa can break that stuff out, and I'll bring that for Tuesday night.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing you say is that we'd like to see what we budgeted and see what we actually spent, see what we can do with the remainder of the money that was budgeted for these projects.
And then to me, that would make it a much easier decision, that if you need to come up, maybe we have 20,000 left over, that we could do the refrigeration system at Cape in the right way. You know, go ahead and replace it.
I'm in the same place, that's where I was asking, that we knew exactly what we budgeted and what we spent.
Makes sense.
Would it, the freezer's gotta get replaced, I mean, people are getting hurt. Would it pay, I'm just asking you this question, to say, can you order the box and get it, start to get manufactured because there's such a lead time out on it? Because they can add the refrigeration to it anytime. It's the panels that take the time.
This is where,
I know.
in my view, it's outside what this committee does. If administration, and that's Jim and Mike, come up and say, we have an issue with the cooler at Cape, we're gonna have to do something, maybe you're looking at a rental unit, or maybe you're looking at something, but if you have an immediate need to get backup cooling or to get that function over there, that's something you take care of and you get it done, whether, I would rather see something temporarily put in, even if it may cost more money in the long term, so that you get the right permanent solution on this side than to shoot, you know, put something in that may not be the right fit or the long term fit. But that really, it's, that piece of it to me is outside this committee. That's administration and how you deal with roof leaks and refrigeration things that break. It's more you need to get something taken care of. Yeah,
And then, I guess when, to build on what Tom's saying, our board meeting's Monday night, so, and I don't know where you're going, we order Thursday or we do it Tuesday morning.
Right. You know,
Just a couple extra days.
well, then I would suggest that, let's get something here around, shut that thing down, before somebody really gets hurt.
Yeah, and I'll start to work with you guys, whatever your recommendation
I mean,
is,
somebody-
start to move.
I watched them walk in here, you got 2 2 1 in here during the day, somebody's gonna get hurt bad.
Wow, if there's ice falls.
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda, quick question, I just have a quick question, moving forward, I saw that Manchester had their playground mulch replaced or replenished. A couple years ago, we were told by facilities that was not within facility scope to replace the mulch, and our PTO had to fund like an $8,000 to $10,000 project.
Well, we started, I'm not sure. Okay.
It was like 2 years
Do you
ago.
need, do you need yours?
I think it was like four February.
It was when I was at Poplar Grove.
Because there is a certain playground mulch that has to.
Correct, and it had to be treated a certain way, but we.
So we check on the budgeting
They,
stuff
they
with
work
that.
with Jim to get the right mulch.
Right, they work with Jim to get the right
The right
mulch at
mulch.
the time, but I'm just
So,
wondering if.
and I don't know if, yeah, it was replaced, but I don't know if we paid for it, if they're Manchester.
For that.
Our PTO paid for it.
No, I'm talking about Manchester's.
Oh, I just didn't know since it was
No.
on the facilities.
So,
They like Manchester.
yeah, so I'll just double check, but whatever I want to do, I want to be consistent.
Yeah, I just, that's what I'm saying, I just, if in case it were to come up again,
Yep, no, I want to be
Okay.
consistent with schools.
thank you.
I'll check on it.
Anything else for number 6?
I just wanted direction for the ball field.
What kind of plans do you have on here? Talking with them together?
The ball field, just the backstop, replacing the backstop.
Putting up that line, bases and all that stuff. That was-
Well, what we did was,
No.
we have the base kids who we found them. The Lions Club, donated $500 to help us pay for the fence. And they also donated a set of bases and a pitcher pump. One of the PTO, ladies is gonna bring a rototiller to a late Smith this fall. And then egg lineman next year.
Springfield season.
Yeah.
Are they gonna have something in place to maintain it and somebody can be up there to maintain it? Because just see them
That's rusty.
falling apart.
Gotta
You right?
That's one of our, it falls under us.
Yeah.
But now,
This hasn't been happening.
I don't know if we have an agreement too with the Lions, but I'd have to double check on that too, do you know?
I don't know.
Because we have a field, or like a three-wheeler that kind of helps drag the
Yeah,
ball
we
fields,
have
and I
that
thought
here.
we
That's
shared that
us.
with us in the
That's
summer.
the line.
That's,
Is that the Poplar Grove Lions? Okay.
But what we do with it when it comes to us, it's up to us, that's our discretion. We also,
I thought that, so we share that or is that ours?
we share that,
That's
both paid for that equally. We also have a Harley rig that's been in Poplar Grove for an extended period of time.
I think we have one here and they have the other one there.
So a Harley rig was what I would run at the time.
And either we kind of work. So is the Cape ball field different than the Poplar Grove Lions? Or is it the same ones?
It's different.
It's different lines.
They don't play competitive games at Cape,
No.
No,
like they do at Poplar Grove.
So now then it comes back to us, back to what Brian's saying, is the communication, I guess, how does that get taken care
I just wondered, I didn't spend all this money and,
of?
The main backstop is ready to tip over.
Yeah, Cape Run?
Yes. And when we put the fence up, we kind of did some ties in it, help hold it. You can walk over and push it, it'll fall over. What, I've been working with Art, he's in the Lions, and we're kind of getting it step at a time. We did all the memorial money, and he donated money. Plus I got some coming in that's going to it. And then the line, and that will be brought. It's mostly gonna be for the grade school kids so they can go out there and play.
That's my question, what's the purpose of that? I know we had some more money from the there. Why are we fixing this up this way? We're not using it. When it was K-8, it was, they used it more in PFAS, now it's just kind of.
Or anybody that
spot
wants to
to grow.
use it, and
I think there's kind of clubs that will use it. I know the Power Club was using it last year.
yes,
So if the clubs use it, would use it if it was maintained and taken care of, and I'm sure they would contribute and help out with it
We
too.
would need to make
It's just-
them pay for it again, let them pay for it if we're, I mean, we should.
well, we went that route with the power,
Yeah,
and it kind of turned into a chaos.
yeah.
Because they were gonna chip in, but they wanted total control. They wanted to say, we got it all solved, nobody else can play on it. And it's a community playground, you know? So that's why we've been piecemealing it together, just with the funds and between the Lions and us, we got the fence up. Originally, they had enough money in that memorial, I was told, to redo that whole diamond. but they never did. And then they had funds taken away from them, and they donated them elsewhere.
We took them away, we took them right away from the front.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did.
So that was told. Which was kind of sad, you know, instead of fixing it, for you, you should have fixed it, and nobody did.
Had to sit there for 5 years or something like.
Yeah, and that was one of my, this time, it was done. That was put on my.
We got direction for that, and move on to number 7, implementation of Woodward program and adaptive personal grid. This is something I asked Mike to put on, kind of to build on what Tom was talking about. I think that the board, it would be easier for us and for Jim to have conversations with us about ongoing issues as costs begin to pile up, about when the proper time to do replacements are, and to start to track some of the stuff. And the asset tracking piece of it was something that as well that I was hoping that we could become a part of that, so we understood when we bought stuff, how long it's been here, how well it was taken care of, what its life expectancy was. And there might be some cash value for it, like you said, at the end of the cycle, sell it to a community member and come into a new piece of equipment. So rather than what we do now, which is take stuff down to where it has absolutely no value, I guess you're in a dumpster. So I was hoping that we could get some system like that going. We were trying to do that when I was here. It was rudimentary at best. Sounds like Jerry's house.
Well, no, actually, so that was more on, because one of the things that Jim and I are talking about too is communication, organization, and trying to pull together all of our wish lists, or I don't want to call them wish lists, the to-do list. Like, so like when Jim walks through, stops by and sees Dean, and you see Dean's list, and he stops and sees, 5 other buildings that we've got away. So I had started to talk about, and I'm giving Jim kind of some rein here on what, as he talks to his custodians about what he needs, is ways to track kind of some of these work order placements and stuff. So we've got some organization and sometimes some communication. So that's a little different than what you're talking about. You're talking more about some equipment stuff, and I'm not opposed to that.
I was hoping that we could do both.
Do both.
That's really what I had envisioned, and that's how we would be having the ability to do both.
So to me, both of them make sense. What I kind of talked to Jim about, and I'd probably say to Dean too, the one thing about like our tech system, so I just had Jerry quote that, we put a work ticket in for items that need to be serviced, and then they can kind of check back and say, hey, fix this, it's closed, should be okay. So there's a two-way communication system there. Now, some people like it, some don't, because it adds one extra step or some things to do. It is a way to organize and get some constant communication, some feedback, and to check on things and trends and stuff like that. But again, I talked to Jim and I said, what will be your custodian? How do your custodians view that? Is that something that they would use or like?
I do that now.
You do it?
I have a work order system right now. If they call me, they need something, I don't. But I'll get work orders for, if the light's out, they'll write a work order up, and they'll prioritize it if it's a high or low.
I think, Dean, you use pieces, they give you a note, right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
got a regular form.
So you've got kind of a system in place. A lot of our buildings don't have.
And I save all of them, and I can go back and show you exactly, this was fixed, this is what I did.
So the one I gave was one that can depending on how we set it up, is one that's done through the computer, the tech. You put an icon right on your desktop, your screen. You'd be able to click on it and take it to your place. So that's why I was kind of saying, test, trial it out there and say, would you guys use this? Because if they're not gonna use it, then it doesn't get me any closer to what I need to track and communicate.
I use it for tracking because I can see where I'm going back on. And I can give you an example. I asked Jim, the old Jim, not the new Jim, last year, I said, Jim, why don't you get no LED lights? He said, it's too expensive. It's not too expensive. Okay, a bulb was $3 more, but I'm eliminating my ballast. My light's good for 2 to 5 years. So why don't you wanna do it? It's too expensive. That's the only answer I got. It's not a big job to do. And all you do is unwire the ballast, wire the power into one end, and you're done.
So like
They have voltage you can put in with ballast, run off the ballast too, so you don't even have to have.
Exactly.
Doing that.
Yeah.
And we did that at our shop.
Yeah.
Save a lot of money.
So if you had items you needed from Jim, would you go into the computer then and click on a work ticket thing and send it to Jim? Or would you rather, do you prefer to communicate him with an email, a note, or form?
I prefer to, give them eye to eye.
That's
Which is what a lot of my guys like, yeah.
Reason I like that, because I'm gonna tell him what it is, he's gonna tell me the way it is, you're gonna come to an agreement on what's gotta be done. Otherwise, it gets lost in the shuffle.
And that's kind of what I got from a couple other custodians is when I see them, I usually talk to them and let them know what I need. You know, give them a list or, so then I was like, okay, if I put a work ticket system in through a computer, are they gonna use it, you know?
I mean, I've used it, but I'm still going eye
Flip
to
side
eye.
of that, though, unfortunately, is we get in situations where there's been a freezer issue at Cape. However many years, that somebody decided on their own, they were not gonna prioritize it to get it fixed. As a board, we're sitting out here wondering.
You don't know nothing about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Seriously, you're kidding me, right?
that's what I told
We have
him.
fencing projects, they get started and somebody pulls the plug on someplace in the middle. We're getting blamed for it, but we didn't make that
I
decision.
told Jim when he first started, I said, you had this much, and you were behind. Now you're this much because of neglect.
So what I'm looking for is a system that we can track some of the capital things that are on this.
It's a big
list,
item.
So that we understand that at some point, the boilers at Manchester are going to need to be replaced.
Yes.
At some point, that's gonna happen. What do we base that decision on? What does a future board base that decision on? You know, well, Jim says today they failed. We're, us, another board, we're not professionals at this. We're sitting back going, they need to be replaced. What happened? You know, so Jim says, well, look, it cost us $25,000 last year. We spent $30,000 on it the year before. We spent $75,000 on it 3 years ago. It's time to just.
That's where your
replace
asset
it.
value of your equipment would come in.
So I mean, that's really what I'm looking for, is a way that we can begin to pull some of these capital things in, and maybe we had designed something else as a priority for year 2 on his 10-year plan, but there's something else that's really kicking our butt. That needs to move up that list and get taken care of, so that was what I was looking for.
I'm for that. I think that's good.
There's been a perfect, you did a perfect example of freezer. You know,
Mr. Nolan, put it back to you, and we'll start to figure out some options of ways we can do that, and get something in place like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all plus for it.
It's just a way, for you to,
Well,
not that you should have to make an argument to us, but
No,
at
I
some
mean,
point,
it's-
there's only so many dollars to do and stuff.
And I-
If we can see the stuff being prioritized going forward.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't we? Everybody needs that.
Yeah.
I mean, if not, you're just gonna swim in a circle, not getting anything accomplished.
I'm sure you guys are more familiar with some of the systems that are available out there than I am, so that's something we can start to work on and get.
Correct.
So the system that we're gonna look at is gonna be more tailored for a building maintenance,
I think so, just,
so it can be used for, not only for ticketing for broken things, but also maybe like the PMs that you were talking about. You
Yeah.
have an asset in there, you know if you worked on it, or you know if it was
Yes.
for a PM. Okay.
yeah, that's kind of what, I didn't
And
catch
we
that
include
part,
that,
I thought.
we include that in facilities and also the equipment?
What's that?
Is that how you would want to see that? The facilities and also the equipment? So everything that breaks, you want to see how we're gonna lay that out, right? Not just the facilities. We want to put mowers, we want to put everything that we either plug in or put fuel in, that's how you want to see it.
In my,
Vacuum cleaners, scrubbers.
you have a dollar, and you don't wanna go all the way down to a $200 item, you go $1,000 item, this is where we're gonna start tracking.
I guess in my vision, when Melissa does those line items, and she essentially just assigns them to a category, those would then get pushed over and assigned to the equipment. Right there when that transaction took place. So that would be an ideal.
Yeah, so then you have a time, date stamp on what you had going on, so when that got into it.
Sounds good.
Anything more on item number 8?
No, I don't think so.
Number 9? I guess I was curious, how was that about making it school that gym floor was really ready? I don't know when the last time we've sanded that down and redone the lines on it.
The lines are dingy, is
It's
that what-
literally, it's dark brown.
I couldn't go back and tell you when the last time it was.
So like if
Think
you,
about what I can tell you, I designed it.
Yeah, I know, I mean,
Before we moved over to the building.
I thought it looked great shape. I mean, I think it was,
Mike's.
but you're right, the lines are
Junior,
changing because of
senior
the
years.
I was
zoning.
his, no, it was Mike's junior, because Wes was his.
And the lines are done.
I was thinking of his
Yeah,
junior.
yeah, Mike was a junior when he did it.
That would have been the
Put a
time.
stage on there too.
Yeah.
20 years.
Look at
I
that.
designed that.
Yeah, it's there.
For the
They
color.
use for, you know, weight in and out, and it just bring it. Number 10,
Put it on the list.
school safety, that was something Tom asked to have put on.
This kind of goes back to almost like when you're looking at the 10-year plan or even the statement that gets mentioned. I'd like to at least this year propose that we put a placeholder in for school safety items that as we get to looking at things and Superintendent and I have talked about, maybe having a workstation for sheriff's deputies, or it could be maybe improving glass coming in entrances or more security cameras. I'd like a placeholder, other than, I don't really see anything in there that we would have for school safety
Dedicate
related.
something to safety.
And if we had something on it, but at least it would be unanticipated expense, so that's, for purposes of this meeting, I think I would like a placeholder of some dollar amount, and that would be for maybe you to kind of work out what you feel would be the right number. I'm not sure who would go back, if it would be a facilities committee, because this could tie into other things as well, but not necessarily a physical building, but, I would really like this piece of it addressed, and, a placeholder to address something, should something come up and you have a finding on it. So,
And then I'm thinking too, like, before you were here, there was a big run of different things that you could do to make sure your school was safe. So I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know for sure all of the things that we put in place as a district here, because I had a window away for a while, when a lot of the school security stuff really
That's-
took heat. So there might be some, there's gonna be some things I think that come out of our social emotional plans that we do there for student safety that'll come out. But then physical, I'm thinking of even physical building stuff. I wouldn't even know what all we've done to make sure that we've done everything we can to make our buildings secure towards some of these trends. So I know we've done like upgrades on glass, you know, like some films on glass and stuff like that. But there's probably other things that are still out there that we could look at to kind of pick off of our site each year.
and that's especially when you have transitions to superintendents and building principals in that facility, to make sure you have a chance to, are our doors and windows where they need to be? Do we have cameras in the right spots? One of the things mentioned is, I'd like the superintendent to approach, like the sheriff's department, put a workstation in. Well, if we were to get an agreement on that, would you have money to retrofit an area for that? So I'm not sure what's out there. I don't know if it's ever been presented back to the board with kind of a state of it, and I think that that's what I would like to see, is just, everybody get up to speed, make sure that, what things are out there, if there are deficiencies, some kind of plan to go and correct them, and that was what the purpose of the item was.
We started down that path a couple of times when I was here. We were actually having conversations with all the staff all having name tags, that they wore when they were here. All kids having name tags, so you knew who was in the building, you could track the kids. And there's lots of little pieces of that I hope we need to be looking into that as well.
So outside of facilities. So,
Anything else on that, Tom?
not on that, I'll get you at the very end before we adjourn, just a question.
The last one, we've been kicking around the idea about looking at the architects for a while. We said that when Jim got here, that we wanted to wanna come back and potentially address that, so that's on here as a placeholder. See whether that's something that we wanna pursue.
Currently, right now, we have cash for install. We do not have a contract, but a couple different ways you can go. You can make sure that they've got the right certifications and have a few of them that are, I forget how they call it, it's called filed with you so that you can use them. And then they bill you by the hour, by the jobs. Or you go out to RFP and make sure that you have your own architect. Different thoughts on that? Do you want a big one? Do you want a local one? Do you want a small one? Do you want, you know, but I think some of that depends on the scope of whatever the projects are. So,
I think for me, personally, the focus for me should be that we should have an architect that understands that when we do renovations, they should be about enhancing the academic atmosphere. Certainly saw a lot of presentations the last 2 years in Chicago about, you know, the way that renovations get done in school that enhance the academic piece of what we're trying to accomplish. And so for me, that would be what I would want the focus of an architecture firm to be, that when they open up a school, we did some kind of renovation to them, potentially down the road, they would have that as a really high priority. What they do, everybody can figure out all the nuts and bolts and all the other pieces that go into it, but there seems to be that there's very few architectural firms right now that understand that, you know, every part of the school should be a learning environment. You know, saw presentations where, you know, some of the schools in the suburbs and some of the Rockford schools, essentially the teachers can take their kids any place on the grounds, they've got Wi-Fi, you know, all the things that they need to move the classroom around and make it fun and break up the routine and enhance the academic atmosphere. That's kind of where I think that, you know, we're gonna look at doing something different with architectural firm. I think that we put a focus there.
then it goes back to
Which one?
yeah. And I was gonna say
We're not
Rockford.
doing any building renovations for more.
Well, no, I was gonna say Rockford doesn't have Wi-Fi this week.
Yeah.
I was-
You had to go there.
That was nice. No, so then I would ask you guys if you want direction.
I just think it should be an eye. We don't have any needs for architects right now, it's just something we want to move forward.
Makes sense.
Any issues with those?
I just don't know that they have that expertise. So other discussion items, Tom, say you had something else?
I just wanted to circle back and kind of see what we've got this 10-year plan. A couple of the things that were mentioned, and I wasn't sure if they, I guess I'm not sure what the next step is. Are we gonna meet next month, and as you kind of get up to speed with where things are at, and you get a, you know, a feeling of where projects are at, is this gonna, are we gonna start working on this now, so that when it gets to be January, and we can do bidding out for some projects are there? Like, one of the things that kind of got bounced around when Dale mentioned about high school temperatures, balancing the high school. I don't know if that would be high enough dollar amount, that would be capital, or if that would be handled out of the operational side of the high school. But I'm just looking for some of these things, as you talk to building principals, kind of get your list together. When are we gonna have our next?
Okay, so here was my thoughts on it. So obviously I brought some things to you tonight that I still want to keep rolling on, you know, and put some agenda items there. I guess, think it's 2021 already is what we're looking at. What I want to do is, one, give Jim a little chance to get a feel for our buildings and stuff here for a little bit. We brought it last year to you in January. I can move it up. The other thing is too, it's supposed to be a 10-year list. It's a 7-year list now because we've got 3 years off on it. Does this still work for you? Does this format still work for you? Do we change it? Jim, I don't even know if this format works for you. You know, it probably, I know we spent a lot of time just trying to understand how Jim Novak had it set up, you know? So I don't know if there's an easier way to do it.
I guess, because here's kind of where I'm at with things, and this is kind of sitting on the, we had the mention about the stadium. And I know, like, the placeholder that was in there, we had trouble holding out 25,000 with where that roof was gonna come in for the stadium placeholder this year. Now, my understanding after those last roofs were done is that kind of took care of our are big ticket items.
Yes.
Until the roofs come back again. You may have some parking lot stuff. So now I would think if there's an opportunity to look at, how could you do a phased-in thing in the stadium? We're in that window to where it's the potential for that type of thing to work out, and I guess I'm kind of wondering how we get there. Because like the stadium, it's not gonna really come as much from a building principal
No.
or things. It's gonna be discussions we have, discussions kind of pulling in those, where did the roofs start coming back in again and where would money start getting tied in and things like that, so. Don't know what the right answer is, I don't know, exactly if that's a direction or not. That's kind of what I'm looking for is, you have an idea of where things are at, what, like replacing lights or sealing parking lots or whatever it is. You kind of got an idea where your big ticket items are and where you could start phasing in something like that or, ideally to do it. And I think the other part is getting a sense from the board as far as what our tolerance is for debt and burden to taxpayers and things like that, because you've got to balance what you want with what's available and what you think the community can afford. And so, I'm looking, that's kind of what I'm looking for as an individual board member, and that's what I would like to see the committee
And you're right.
focus on.
We're on the tail end of our life safety stuff. Most of our big stuff is done, so we still got needs, we got things to address about how to do it.
I guess if it's on here for the 25, 26, as far as $3.5 million on that, as far as a placeholder for the stadium, just as a pie in the sky here. But we might have kind of a direction that we working towards, and so we can do fundraising and get an idea of what and where we might want to go with it. There's another committee meeting or a different committee set up for doing something like that, or?
Certainly it needs to stay connected to those groups so we understand what the budget for our facilities is and all that. I think that one of the things that I was kind of pushing for is start getting feedback, because to understand really where we are in this process. I get a sense that we're a lot farther away from being able to do something like that than we think we are. Start talking about $100,000, $200,000 lot renovations, it's not going to be cheap to put in the catering, open that parking lot, and recreate that so that there's not constant water infiltration into the basement. That's something that we have to address that. Those are things that I don't think anybody here understands. There's constantly water that's in the water basement of the school. It has to be addressed. Manchester's the same way. It constantly has water on it, so they're running fans behind bookcases in the library to keep the water out of the basement. So some of these things have been downplayed so that we can have conversations about other pie in the sky things. Buildings can't be able to have water running into the basements for very long. Something serious is gonna happen, so they're gonna fail. The concrete's gonna fail, the walls are gonna fail, it costs us a lot more money to deal with on the roads. All family, discussing everything, what plans together. We have to understand what's going on in our buildings at a better level than we do today. Before we can make those decisions.
You're gonna find some of those probably the same problems that probably goes up.
I didn't leave anybody
No.
out, but those were
But,
ones that I called
yeah,
out
I mean, you're
because-
looking at the older buildings and I think they're all suffering.
Teachers' schools.
And don't you think that's the challenge that we have? We had a challenge for our bleachers a couple of years ago, and nobody was safe, really caught their chins, we didn't have, child die or break a neck, or, you have the liability issues of people getting hurt on a curb facility, we can't host events. It's a tough line to draw of what we're gonna do. I think, you mentioned getting a committee together, I think people are committed out, and that's better beating up the topic, and if that's a flashpoint in the community. I don't know where that's gonna go, but we have to address all the issues, that's what the fine line is in this group.
Is there anything else for the board, or for this committee tonight? Thank you, everybody, appreciate it, and well, we'll meet next month.
Yeah, we gotta keep it on the radar.
So for Tuesday night, we're gonna have some numbers for the freezer, and some numbers for
All time and pre-K.
and pre-K.
And then Jim and I will start to look on kind of
And then Melissa's gonna give us a breakdown of
What we spent, yeah. Yep.
This thing is-
So that's what I have in my notes, so it's the land.
I use this, that, I use that.